Welcome to the Luxe Leap, where bold women turn ambition into action. I'm your host, Reland Logan, and together we'll explore the big moves, smart strategies, and extraordinary branding behind unstoppable businesses. So I have a question. What if your skincare routine didn't have to be complicated to be truly effective, ladies? Denise DuBois is the visionary founder of Dubois Beauty and the renowned clinical esthetician and wellness expert with over 3 decades of experience. She's built a career on 3 core principles: clean, simple, and holistic skincare. After years of delivering superior results in the treatment room, Denise set out to answer a powerful question. How do you translate professional spa outcomes into everyday products people can actually use at home? No 500 steps necessary. I'm sure she's about to correct my life before our very eyes. Through Dubois Beauty, she's done exactly that, creating nature-based formulas designed for healthy aging, skin resilience, and true skin wellness without the overwhelm or the harsh ingredients. Today, she's here to share how she bridges the gap between clinical results and conscious skincare. Please welcome the woman redefining what healthy, radiant skin can actually look like, Denise DuBois. Hello, how are you?
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
Of course. Well, as somebody who is obsessive about skincare, I'm really excited for this conversation.
Wonderful.
Thank you. I think when people think of like owning a business and, a lot of the folks who are on this show tend to be like speakers and consultants and women in that vein of business. But one of the things that I realized and why it's so important to have you here is we are all presenting ourselves publicly constantly, and tons of makeup, tons of that just doesn't help. I honestly feel detrimental, and I personally don't wear a ton of makeup. So like hearing ways to maintain the lovely pair of eyes you see in the mirror every day and what surrounds it, I think is going to be a very powerful conversation. So thanks for being here.
My pleasure.
So Miss Denise, what inspired your Luxe Leap, the bold move that started your journey from ordinary to extraordinary?
What inspired me to start Dubois Beauty Skincare?
Yep.
Well, it stems from owning my spas. I have 2 locations in Albany, New York, and in Saratoga Springs, New York. The name of our spas is Complexions Spa for Beauty and Wellness. And we've been open for almost 40 years now. And over the years, we have brought in skincare lines that, over time they get sold, they change formulas. And that became a little bit frustrating for me because, you get used to certain qualities and that can change. And we also, during COVID, when clients would, they learned how to shop online, and that actually started to deplete retail sales in our business. So that was there's really twofold reasons. I didn't really have any control over the quality of a product and maintaining the results that we wanted our clients to be able to achieve, because as I said, brands get sold, they change formulas, you just don't have any control over that. And then the second thing was that more and more clients, we were raising awareness of a skincare brand, and people were starting to buy and shop more and more online, which, we would raise awareness to the product, and then clients were just started buying elsewhere instead of buying it from us, the professionals who could oversee and manage, their skincare needs, because they do change over time. You don't want to always be in the exact same routine month over month over month. So it does change with the changing season. So I ultimately came to the realization that the only way that I can control the quality of a product was to create it myself, and then I worked with a team of cosmetic chemists and 2 laboratories, and I learned what is truly clean beauty. What do we want to keep out of the products? What do we want to, avoid. And so I learned about clean beauty, and being an esthetician for so many years, I want to stay involved with taking
Yeah.
care of my clients' skin. So instead of them buying from me and then buying it online somewhere else, I they come back and buy it from us, and we can continue to oversee and maintain those results. Even our clients that don't come into the spas but buy online, we do offer Zoom calls, and we will review your skincare needs and work with our clients one-on-one to make sure that they're always using the right steps to keep their skincare effective for them. So it's a twofold motivation.
I love that. And like, just, it's also just the, like, bringing it in control in house. I think of, I have my esthetician here. I am, I am determined to look young for forever. And I know that that comes from like what I consume as well as what I put on my skin. But anytime something switches up, like, that is who I go to, because I mean,
Yes.
knowing me, I'm going to create like mass destruction, like
Also,
an evil scientist.
something as simple as in the winter months, when it's colder outside and the heaters are on, it does affect your skin barrier. So you're not going to use the same type of cleanser in the summer and moisturizer that you would use during the winter months, because your skin needs change, and you might need a hydration booster serum to help bind and hold moisture to those skin cells more so than you do in the summer. So those are just two small examples of how you can work with your esthetician and you know um, make sure that you're always addressing what your skin's needs are over time.
Yeah, because it does change. Like, I don't have the same skin I had at 16. Very random age to
So
choose.
very true. Yes, when you're in your teenage years, early 20s, your skin changes. After the age of 20, we start to lose about 1% of our collagen every year. So now what we're talking about is, in your earlier ages, you're doing prejuvenation. And then as you gracefully age through those decades, you transition to rejuvenation. So, and that is tied to the types of products that you would use.
That's very interesting. So thinking back, you explained how you started your skincare line, but how did your personal story influence the brand that you built?
Well, I've called upon my experience as an esthetician and a spa owner. We actually conducted some focus groups with our customers, our estheticians that work within the spas, and we asked them, what are your favorite products and why? And what then my experience as an esthetician and having an understanding of how the skin ages, what are some core foundational skincare steps that you should be doing on a daily, regular basis to address healthy aging or that aging process? So keeping those core pillar steps in mind, and then also considering what are some of our clients' favorite steps and things that they enjoy, and the sensory experience, the texture experience, what are things that they appreciate in a product. So we gathered that information, and that's how we created our Dubois Beauty line.
Amazing. What does it smell like, since you're clear across the
Well, we
country from
don't
me?
have any artificial
Okay.
fragrances in any of the products. So the aromas are very subtle, and they're coming from the actual ingredients that are in them. So there's nothing added to make it smell a certain way. So it has a very subtle, soft, um, aromatic aroma, very subtle. We don't want to have fragrances can be sensitizing to the skin. In fact, all of our products are tested for sensitivity tested on people before we even go to market with the product and start selling it or using it on our clients. But fragrance, even something like an essential oil, if you have too much of a good thing in a
Yep.
product, that can be sensitizing, and you have to be very careful with, even if you're adding aromatherapy aromatherapy essential oils to a product because of the fragrance or maybe the quality that that essential oil has, those strong aromas really can mean there's going to be a potential for a little more sensitivity.
Oh, and I only ask because I'm allergic to everything. And I feel like almond is everybody's like go-to for moisture, but also to make things smell good. It was a strategic question on my end, not gonna lie. Um, yeah, most of my stuff doesn't smell at all. But again, I feel like my list of allergies rivals Santa's naughty list at this point. So, good times. So it really started to sprout in 2020. But when was that moment you realized your brand had momentum and people really got it?
Well, we launched the product line in 2022, so it did take some time to develop it. And as I mentioned, we do sell it presently in-house at our two brick and mortar locations. And we started our e-commerce shortly after we launched. So, we're still growing as a brand. Most of our traffic does come in through direct, searching for Dubois Beauty products. But we're the challenge really is to just get more people introduced to the line. But once people do experience it, we have a nice retention of people, purchasing it again. So, it's still a work in progress of just getting our name out there and people getting the product in their hands to try it.
What's your favorite summer product and what's your favorite winter product?
My favorite summer product, oh gosh, that's a tough one. It's like a two-step. I really like to use our AHA cleansing milk. It has 5% lactic acid in it, so it does very gently exfoliate the skin. But lactic acid is one of the more mild, gentler alpha hydroxy acids that loosen the bond or glue that holds those dead skin cells to the surface. It has a brightening effect. It has acer rubrum in it, so it does have a brightening antioxidant effect. And then after I rinse that off, I do like to use our Clarity AHA toner. That two-step really is a great way to keep your skin looking bright, fresh. It helps with pigmentation, and it's exfoliating, so it keeps that texture nice and smooth. So that's my favorite product to use in the summer months. And then in the winter, there's another duo that I really like to use. Everyone's lacking in moisture in the winter months. So after you use your cleanser, I do like to introduce a hydrating mineral spray. It's called Calm Mineral Spray, and it has some pre and probiotics in it. It has some soothing ingredients, so it's affecting the biome of the skin. But most importantly, we're using Saratoga mineral water, and it is introducing that moisture. So if you mist your face with the hydrating mist, and then you're going to put on a hydrating booster serum that has called Dewdrop. So what happens is you're introducing the moisture with the mineral spray, and then the Dewdrop serum has ectoine, it has niacinamide, it has hyaluronic acid, and this is a super powerhouse serum that kind of soaks up all that moisture and it binds it to your skin cells to help replenish that moisture loss that's affecting your barrier, compromising the barrier. So that helps to restore that. And then of course you have to seal it in with a protecting daytime moisturizer. So my two duo pairs.
You're like, you can't have one without the other.
They're very complementary of one another.
No, but I love it. And I think that not a lot of folks realize that like there are multiple steps, but the why behind them for each season. And so it's really important. I know that I feel like I have like a winter side of the skincare shelf and then like a summer side. And I also have like different states. So I go between here and Arizona. vastly different climates.
Different climates.
Um,
Yes.
oh, I felt the pain when I went to Arizona in January. I felt the pain. I was like, oh, you didn't bring enough to moisturize. You forgot there's no moisture here. It just sucks it all out. My
Yes.
feet actually felt it the worst, but here we are. So when you've been in business for, like you said, almost 40 years, so
Yes.
you have worked really hard and you've gone through vastly different seasons to create visibility for your business. Thinking back to like what marketing looked like in the 80s versus what marketing looks like today in 2026, different worlds. In essence, like me and my boyfriend were just having a talk. He was like, I had asked him, I was like, if you had your own law firm, like, how would you market it? I don't know why I asked that question in the car, but I'm clearly a nerd and I love what I do. So when I asked him that, he's like, I would bring back the jingle. I feel like people don't have jingles anymore. I was like, I don't think we need a jingle, dude. I think we're okay.
Yes. That's funny. Yes.
But remember when like they were everywhere and like kids would sing the Oscar
Yes.
Mayer hot dog song?
Yes.
It
Or the
was
Big Mac
insane.
with hamburgers. Yeah.
And and they were everywhere. And I just remember being a little kid and like singing all these random things. I always think of the rental car company that used hey, oh, let's go. I really remember that. But when you think about what?
I was just laughing.
I mean, like I can list 100 of them, I think.
Yeah.
But when you think about visibility today and you think about it for the skincare line in particular, and maybe comparing like through time how these things had worked, what has been the hardest part and what is finally working?
That's really a magic question that I would love to know the answer to.
You're like, wait a second, can you tell
Well,
me?
I think, years ago, we used to do advertisements in the newspaper, right? We used to do ads in the magazine. Um, we've always focused on some internal marketing, email marketing, newsletters, staying in touch with our customers. We've always done that, and we still make sure that we have our newsletters that are more educational, based for our customers, teaching them about healthy lifestyles and how do different services or products help support that throughout the year.
Mm.
But I think, today you really need to know who your target audience is, right? Because different demographics are going to be um, attracted in different ways. So you really need to understand first who is that target audience, what is the demographic. And then you have to, I think clients need to see things, regularly. So doing, targeted marketing and remarketing. I do still believe in the email. Once you do get someone interested in your brand, you need to stay in touch with them. And, whether it's through, emails or ads that pop up, or you need to make sure that you stay relevant. And otherwise, it's a very busy, noisy space, right? People can get easily pulled into different directions because of ads. How many times are you on Instagram and you're just getting hit? I think half of my feed actually is ads.
It
So
is.
yes. So, I mean, you really have to be strategic. And I think first, like I said, knowing who your audience is, and then, targeting your advertising efforts to really hone in on that demographic.
I think that's really important for folks to hear because I mean I do a lot of brand strategy for folks. I spend a lot of time. I was actually just speaking about it this morning to a group, and I find that most people don't actually know who their audience is truly. They have no idea. Um, and a lot of people don't use email marketing the way that they should and are very ineffective at it and then like to tell me that it doesn't work. And I'm like, no, it does work, but what you're doing doesn't work. Um, we can't like force sell something every single time we send an email. People don't want to read it. So it it is very interesting that you say that, like at the core of it, no matter if we're still putting ads in a magazine to today, and today it matters even more, like knowing who your audience is the most impactful thing that you can do. And you're constantly having to learn who they are because they do shift, they do change, things become more or less important to them. It's funny that you're like, most of your Instagram feed is ads. So is mine. And I now have a smart basketball and a smart scale to show for it. But that smart basketball is saving this mommy's life. I'm just like, here, take my phone, go outside, go practice your dribbling. Have a nice day. Like, and I deal with hearing it out the window, but like, at least I know my child's alive and bouncing a ball. So thanks, Dribble Up. But they did not pay for that advertising, everybody. That was free. But it is important that you know your audience. And it's like they knew I signed up for basketball and that I would have a kiddo who needed a smart basketball. They know they've known for a while that I have a little boy who at the time did not play for this example. And they don't have a smart football, which is his sport of choice. Like if they were really dialed in, y'all, they would make me a smart football for wide receivers and quarterbacks. That's what I need.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, they have like everything else, but not that. So, or maybe they need like smart gloves or something. You know what? I don't know. Figure it out. Dribble Up. I'm sure you're not listening to this podcast. We are not your demographic. So, but you're right when you say like it is going to be the audience piece. And I think like that magic wand where you're like, I wish somebody would tell me. It's the learning and the willingness to want to learn. And I think you do a great job of that. I mean, you've done it just in like creating the right product and the 2 years of testing that it took to get to market. But yeah, it is kind of like herding cats up a hill some days. It feels near impossible. So how do you define success for your brand today, and how has it evolved since you began?
How do I define success? Well, how do I define success? Well, first and foremost, I am very pleased when we get high reviews, ratings, when people post a review about a product that they're using, and we can see people getting results. Like some of our acne clients that are using our charcoal cleanser and our willow herb serum, they're posting real raw results, and that is so rewarding for me to see a product that we've developed giving someone results that they're seeking. So that is number one. That's so rewarding to see people happy, and letting us know that we're doing a good job and they are getting the results that they want out of the product. So that's very rewarding. And what else is rewarding is just to see that us gaining, more and more interested clients that are buying it, or even have a subscription feature where people can sign up to have that reoccurring order being sent to them automatically. And that's been really great because, now they're committed to using the product, and really consistency is so key for people to get results. You can't just try something for a short stretch and not give it an opportunity to perform and help you get the results. And so people signing up for that reoccurring subscription has been wonderful because, like I said, they're happy, they're seeing results, and now they're committing to that. So I'd like to see us grow, and be able to help more people. So that's truly the success.
Those are amazing metrics for success, to like really be able to not only have proof of concept, but to almost give you like the oomph to keep going and really feel validated. Those are beautiful ways to define success. I also just love that they were tangible ways. Sometimes I ask this question, I don't always get like the most tangible answers, and that's okay. I think every answer is amazing, but I think folks also listen to this podcast and are like, okay, but like, how can I do it for myself? And those are two things that people can truly take and be like, okay, I have like benchmarks to weight my own brand against in order to be able to move forward. And I think that's a really beautiful thing. So, Miss Denise, If someone listening is standing on the edge of their own Luxe Leap, what advice would you give them?
You mean if someone is wanting to start their own business, and
Mhm.
what advice would I give to them about starting? Do the research, do you ever hear of a SWOT analysis? Like
Yes.
your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. I think, you know what? It's kind of an interesting place to think about, right? You have to know what is your why, because your why, what is your passion? Your passion is your why. Why are you doing something? And I once heard a speaker, Simon Sinek, say, people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do something. So I think, really understanding your why and your passion, and then, doing that little bit of an analysis, because that's your opportunity, is your why. And what is the look around you, and what are the opportunities out there? What are the threats out there? And that's how you start to put together your story, right, of how you're going to go about it. But you first have to start with your why, and and like I said, your passion, and solve a problem. You have to be able to solve a problem for someone. So what are the problems with when you know what your why is, that you want to be doing whatever it is that you want to be doing? What is the problem that's going to be solving for someone or something, right? And you need to be able to answer that.
Yes, I always tell folks when I'm like teaching about building strong offer suites and things of that nature, you need to show that you understand the problem better than they do, because that's what gets people to buy. They trust
Mhm.
that you can lead them to the solution because you understand the problem. Folks don't necessarily care about the solution as much as they're stuck in the ick, is what I like to call it. So great example, like if you have acne, then you do need that acne soap, and you're going to go look at those testimonials and see if somebody got out of it and that it works. And but at the base of it, it's showing that like Dubois skincare understands the acne problem and how to solve it. And I think that, you know, unfortunately, fortunately, I don't know why I looked up into my brain like it was magically going to pop there, but bro marketing tactics, they'll be like, okay, like really get into somebody's pain point and like all these things, like dig into that. There is some merit to it. I think that the advice itself is maybe packaged incorrectly, but we do need to just show we understand the problem. We don't have to live in doom and gloom, but like if we can share that problem, we can show there's a solution to that problem, we understand it. That is a very, very powerful thing that I think anybody should be doing before they just jump into business.
Mhm.
And I love that you brought up SWOT analysis. The strategist in me just like heart had flutters. Um, I was explaining to that group of people today too. I was like, I know people think branding and they think things are pretty and logos and all these things. It's like, I am a strategist through and through, and we don't go to war in big ways anymore. But like, I was probably like the only female general in another life a million years ago. So Um, so strategy is really the name of the game. And I think that we do need to spend a little bit more time on that research and that deeper work in order to be
Absolutely.
effective. Amazing advice. I love it. So what's next for you? What's the next bold move you're making?
Oh my goodness. We're actually working on developing some more products for the line. And, there's a few pieces of specialty products that I am going to be adding to the line. So I actually had a meeting yesterday with one of the labs that we work with, and we were reviewing um, the ingredients and the action that we want. So we're going to be introducing the next couple of months some new enzymes for exfoliation. And then in about 6 months, we'll be introducing a brightening serum for pigmentation. And we're also looking at some exosome technology. So yeah, we have some new products coming down the line, and we're always trying to pay attention to the trends in the industry, and we don't jump on things right away, because you want to kind of, when something new comes to the market, you want to learn about the efficacy and best practices for formulating. And so yeah, that's what we're working on now, and does take about 6 months to a year to launch a new product. So we've been working on the enzymes for a little while now, and so they'll be ready. They're actually in the testing phases right now, because every product that we do bring in, it does get tested for sensitivity. We test it on people, and of course, there's other types of efficacy packaging testing, and component testing and stability testing, things like that you have to do. So it does take some time before it can get to market. It's a lengthy process. So more brand development.
I love it. And I love that you test on people. I think that's so important. And animals don't have the same skin as humans, y'all.
No.
So, and they don't deserve that. We are not the same as rabbits. I regret to inform everyone.
And we are PETA certified, and cruelty free and vegan, and yes. So
amazing. I love it. Well, Denise, thank you. I learned a lot today, but I also, like, beyond learning about the skincare elements and like what certain things do, I don't even know that you realize that you exude so much knowledge from the time that you've had in business, and like actual tangible things to do that can apply to anybody. And I'm just really grateful that you shared part of that knowledge with us here. It's absolutely incredible. So
it's a nice opportunity for me to, get to share that with others. I do appreciate you having me on your show.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, everybody, thank you for joining us this Thursday or any day that you are listening. But we invite incredible women every Thursday here to the show, and love that you spend your time listening to us, whether you're on the go or you're at home. But do us a favor, go ahead, go visit Dubois Skincare. Denise, can you share where they can find your products?
Yes, thank you. Absolutely. They can find us at Dubois, Dubois Beauty.com. That's our whole line of skincare. I have a blog there with lifestyle educational information, and I'm also on social media myself. It's Denise DuBois Skin. And I'm always happy to offer any help or assistance. Skincare questions, you just need to reach out.
Amazing, beautiful. And everyone, if today's episode has you rethinking how you're showing up and you're ready for a brand that actually turns heads, I'd love to invite you to book your Brand Muta Brand Breakthrough. It's my video deep dive brand audit that helps you see exactly what's working, what's not, and what needs to shift to attract your own champagne clientele. So you can grab your spot at my website at graydigitalmktg.co/brandmuta-review. It's also the button in the upper right-hand corner. So you could just save yourself and go to graydigitalmktg.co. And you can start turning clarity into confidence, because as usual, everybody, let's be honest, vanilla opinions don't pop bottles, and you got to be able to know your why and put your stake in the ground somewhere, somehow. So thank you, everybody. If it's your first time listening, please like, subscribe, and share with other incredible women in your life. And we hope that you take your Luxe Leap if you haven't yet. And if you're in the middle of it, keep growing. Don't stop. It's going to be incredible. And we'll see you there. Thanks, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.